You mentioned something twice already in the podcast, direct impact on revenue. And it's actually one of the things that, throughout the industry, still, it's amazing. I think because contact centers are the biggest overhead cost, it can be one of the biggest overhead cost line items for an organization. They're looked at as cost centers as more than value centers. Value to the organization that goes all the way to driving revenue. If you could connect the dots for us in terms of the CX operation and impact on bottom line revenue, how would you tell us the story of how those two are connected?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think firstly, before we move to the sales parts, definitely the call center, the support center itself, it's more like a cost center. So as a cost center, we need to focusing on the productivities, which is AHT. We need to focusing on the effectiveness, which is FCR, first contact resolution rates. So this is all the KPIs we measured to keep elevating the customer experience. This is still number one. It's our fundamental job. So what we're adding on to contribute more to the sales is how we find out the linkage with the customer experience metrics to the sales metrics. I can give some examples about the formula here. So as the customer satisfaction rates, we have the NPS, we have the CSARs, and all these things is show how customers satisfied with your brand, their shopping experience. But all of these things we need to link with the consumer shopping behavior, the shopping frequency, churn rates, the CRV. As a CX leader, we can have a solid formula to bound your CX metrics with the customer shopping frequency metrics. It will be directly linked. Build up a strong linkage that CX do matters in the shopping frequency, and this will drive incremental sales to the brand.
And so you've literally been able to show that if we increase like our CSAT scores, our NPS scores, that you can see a direct correlation with shopping frequency and purchases. So there's literally like the data tells you're not a cost center. You are an actual driver of bottom line revenue. Is that what I'm taking away?
Absolutely. To emphasize this one, we talk about omni-channel is digitalization. Data is a fundamental. So as an enterprise, you need to focus on the data part. And when we talk about data, we need to have the system. We need to have a program. We need to have multiple systems. Like we just mentioned, the call center, we have the customer service like a Salesforce, Zendesk, a lot of tools in the industry. You can find vendors sponsor here. And if we talk about customer data, we need to have a CRM to a CDP, custom data platform, to manage the customer behaviors part. All of these tools give the leaders a weapon on the battlefield. Without these tools, you cannot win the battle.
So I'm fascinated in this area of data, because when you talked about transformation, the entire world of business is going through a digital transformation. You can actually look at studies that are done by Accenture and some of the biggest consulting firms in the world, and they talk about the difference between the business of today and the business of tomorrow is the use of data and informed decision making that leads to all kind of things. Data leads to better CX experiences. If you could paint that picture, we started from the end, which is we're not a cost center, we're a revenue generating center, a value center. And you connected the dots on there that better customer experience ratings and scores leads to more shopping frequency and spending. But if you could then go back one step and say, what's the data that you see that you rely on most that are indications of, are we going in the right direction of providing the right CX experiences? What do you look for in that data?
I think, as I just mentioned here, data is the key element for the business owner. So once a CX leader, we talk about any CX initiatives to drive the NPS and the CSAT, your COO, your CFO might be challenged about the ROI part. So I think to answer their questions, to let them on the same boat that you are, you need to provide the data. You need to provide a very solid formula that once we increase the NPS, once we increase the shopping frequency, we will see incremental sales for the business. This is the linkage I still need to emphasize. And also for my role today, I'm doing this every day.